another episode of The Man Space. My co-host, Kunle, and I are always energized and excited about bringing on amazing gentlemen from around the world to share their story, to share their journey, to share what makes them uniquely them, and what are some of the challenges they've faced, how they overcome it, and what support and a supportive environment looks like. Because we live in a world where men are taught don't feel, don't talk about feelings, and don't ask for help. Because if you do any of those, somehow you're a little less than. And we want to break that cycle and build a society that truly is embracing and supporting of men as much as we do women. And so to help us with this conversation, we're going to absolutely love this conversation with Dr. Rajesh Khajuria, joining us all the way from India. Dr. Rajesh, welcome to the Man Space.
Thank you so much. Hi, Kasuri and Kunle, one in the United States, the other one in Nigeria, Africa.
Absolutely. And as we get started, Dr. Khajuria, I had the honor and pleasure of meeting you through the School of Business accrediting body and the conferences. And we've been thought leaders and we've become friends. And we're both educators, right? So from that perspective, I have watched the joy and the exuberance with which you show up in every place. What keeps you in this place of joy, knowing that life comes with challenges?
Well, I think Dr. Kasuri or Dr. Kas, I think you are the first person to ask this question. But I have always been in my answer within myself. I think the shortest answer is because I was born with a smile, because I am a happy soul, and therefore my face smiles, my body smiles, and I have no malice whatsoever. I never think negative. I have no enemies in the world, although some people thought I'm kind of their enemy or opponent. I never thought like that. So when someone never thinks negative, that person is never afraid. And if you are not afraid, just like you, I heard a bit of your story at ACBSP, and I was on the board of commissioner at that time, and also several committee members. And I realized that, well, I was sitting on the first bench. And I think that was Washington, D.C. And I realized, oh my God, there is a lady called Kasturi from Sri Lanka. And she has amazing stories to share. And she went through much more challenges than I went through. I never had, kind of great challenges greater than you had. But nonetheless, everybody has, and I had. So I think I passed through everything, every test that God gives me. And that makes me happy.
That was so amazing, Dr. Rajesh. And as you're saying this, I'm not only hearing with my ears, but I am listening with my eyes, because I am so dazed and I'm gazed at your smile as you're radiating it all over the screen, and the contagiousness right in there, it's so obvious for everyone to see. And, when we talk about things being contagious, what our mind flashes on sometimes might just be like ailment or illnesses or something in that regard. How about a smile? How about laughter? How about kindness? And you have chosen this aspect in building the community: joy, smile, happiness. And most people in our world these days really try as much as possible to move towards the opposite of this. You feel what makes the world go round is when you are just serious at all time, when you somehow frown your face. People think that's what would make people get things done. I want you to talk to us how you've been able to break barriers, open doors, get things done with this positive mindset, with this wide smile on your face, and people don't take advantage of you in that regard. Talk to us, Dr. Rajesh.
Thank you so much, Kunle. Your smile is no smaller than mine. You have a wonderful smile as well. If I start the root cause of happiness, I was blessed at the time of my birth, not just by my parents. I was born in a village in a jungle. The village name is Wau, W-A-U. It's on the world map, and it's in Sudan, and now it falls in South Sudan. And that's how I am an African by birth, to Indian parents. And when I was born with a smile, my mother had a midwife. There was no hospital in Wau in those days. And it is still an extremely poverty-ridden entire South Sudan, I mean, and the least developed nation. And the person who came, a lady, came from a local church, and I think she was Greek or Italian lady. She was sister, nun, and the nun helped my mother deliver me. And then she gave a radium statue, 6-inch statue made of fully radium. It radiates at night, of the Mary, and carrying small Jesus in her hand. You know, that very typical, very famous kind of statue. And my mother kept it along with our Jain gods, our Hindu gods, for the lifetime. And I used to tease mother that, mother, you are Jain, you follow Jainism, you follow Hinduism. Why do you keep this Jesus and Mary with you? And her reply, she said, because you are the gift of Jesus, that sister said. So you were born with a smile, that sister midwife said. And I think I brought happiness from some previous birth. So I continue with that. But if you give one more minute, I can narrate how I spread it. So in 2005, I was a resident of London, and I had unconditional permit to live in United Kingdom. And I lived for a year with my brother and my nephew and all, but I didn't like, so I just surrendered my rights and I continued to live in India. But one day I had just 14 sterling pound in my pocket, and my only savings at that time. And I went to central London by tube train, underground. And I saw a young European boy, because Europe can enter UK without a visa. They can just come by bus. So loads of young people used to come to London every day in search of work, and mostly from Eastern European countries. So there was a European boy who didn't have food, so he was just lying partly unconscious on the footpath. And every person who was walking by that footpath did not look at him. So I stood by, I asked him, and he only could say he wants some food. He's hungry, and since yesterday, she hadn't had anything. So I had 14 sterling pound in my pocket. For 8 pounds, I bought some sandwich and a drink, because the Europeans and British cannot, even Americans, cannot eat without a drink. They need a drink, a cold drink at least. So I bought a cold drink. I don't drink. I didn't have money to have a cold drink at that time, but I bought for him and I fed him. And then I just kept £6 only to return to home. The only money I had. And that was my total savings when I went from India there. So the boy smiled. And I think I was very happy on that day. I have his blessings. And then every alternate Monday in central London, me and my nephew used to cook for 200, 300 people at home. We will carry the vegetarian food, curry and drinks and everything for 200, 300 people. We will distribute them every alternate Monday. And believe me, there were 90% Europeans, 9% Asians, and 1% Indian. Very, very rare. And we as Indians used to feed all the Europeans, those who came in search of work from Europe. Now, the kind of blessings, and every person, while we give them food, they would say, bless you, bless you, bless you. 300 blessings every alternate Monday for almost 9 months. You imagine how many I collected just in 9 months from UK, London. Now, I collected millions of them from around the world that I visit. So I think that makes me really, they take care of me. I don't take care of myself. At home, my wife takes care of me. Outside, anybody I meet, I'm taken care of. And I will tell you some more of stories as we move forward.
That is such a beautiful perspective and a beautiful way to engage with life, because you understand you're a soul and you understand you're here for a larger purpose. And when you show up that way and accept everybody else as a soul, like we do in our culture, right? We're recognizing the divine within each of us, each other. Life becomes a beautiful experiment, right? And people gravitate. So when there is food, there is joy. And the third thing I would add is when there's music and dancing. Those three things will bring everybody in and it breaks down all the barriers. So I am loving how you are showing up in this world and how you are sharing this. There's always going to be some people you run into who are wondering, why is he so happy? Why are you so happy? And they're trying to figure out, what is it about you that is different? And everything in my life is wrong. And you seem to have everything working out right. What advice do you have for them? Because you and I and Kunle, we know happy people have life work out for them. People who are chasing life to then become happy never succeed, right? So what advice do you have for them to embrace life with joy and kindness and love, and how that could change their entire trajectory?
Thank you. A great question. And I recall a Buddhist monk by name Thich Nhat Hanh. Thich Nhat Hanh. He is no more now. He was Vietnamese monk, and he lived in what is known as Plum Village in France. And he did his, I think, master's and PhD from United States, and one of the top 10 universities, very brilliant. And he wrote a book called It's on Love something. I just missed the title. I'll remember and share with you. And somewhere he writes, and this helps me explain what I want to explain in a better way. He said, if you think you are facing a lot of trouble, you are facing a lot of challenges, you feel depressed, you feel sick physically, mentally, maybe because you are devastated in terms of your family, in terms of your finances, in terms of opportunities, in terms of missing the bus in life, whatnot. You feel devastated. At that time, think how a gardener thinks and what a gardener does. A skillful gardener knows how to grow flowers. And the gardener knows that one day the flowers would wilt. And he will convert that wilted flowers into fertilizer. And he will plant again new flowers. And he will grow new flowers. So if you know that you can convert beautiful depression kind of feelings into beautiful feelings. If you are a gardener, the gardener knows how to convert garbage into flower. Knowing very well that one day the flower will again be a garbage, but the gardener knows how to convert it back. I think happiness is like that. My message to people who are unfortunately not feeling happy for whatever reason, I know very rich people who are not very happy. And I know poor people who are not very happy. And I know middle class, some of them not very happy. I feel so bad about them. I think the message to them is learn to be a gardener. You have to renew your happiness every day because the challenges are every day. But like the sun, which shines every morning, you got to wait for that morning and never mind if the sun sets, because I just saw the moon was so beautiful now. While you see the sun, I see the moon, and both of us appreciate that beauty. That, I think, is the message for them. Appreciate beauty, appreciate nature, and learn to convert garbage into flowers. So I give one example. If someone abuses you, okay? And my example is that if I give you $1 and you don't take it, what happens? It just falls on the ground. In the same way, if somebody abuses you, throws abuses, and you just don't take it, it all falls on the ground or vanishes in the air. It doesn't touch you. I think that's the way to feel happy. And that's the message.
Wow. 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 Dr. Rajesh, this is a whole lot. I mean, it's coming from the depth of your heart. I can see it right in your eyes, and it's full of wisdom for living. And this is something that everyone needs to really stay, calm and stay ahead of problem. Take power away from the problem. When you find peace within yourself, joy within yourself, happiness, and you radiate that, just like you give the analogy of the gardener that was given the other time, how we turn those challenges and we turn them to opportunities. We turn those stumbling blocks to stepping stones in one way or the other. That is a lot of wisdom shared by you right on the man's space, and we duly appreciate that. Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Before we ask for because on the man's space, we also ask you, I know you've given your final word, everything, but we still want more. So we're still going to give a time whereby you just give maybe 1 or 2, 3 sentences to everyone who is watching out there as it pertains to joy, happiness, and smile, and what they can do with it. We want you to just reel out how our viewers can reach out to you how they can contact you to get more of your services and get more connection with you?
Well, LinkedIn is the easiest way, and I'm on LinkedIn. And my LinkedIn is with you. You can share Rajesh Khajuria, PhD, very simple. And if they watch my face now, they would recognize me on the LinkedIn. That's the best way. For last 4 years, I stopped asking for money. Not that I am a millionaire like Kasturi. I am not. But I thought, I'm going to leave this world one day. And all I need is for my maintenance, me and my wife. My both daughters are in United States. Okay. So I don't need a lot of money. And believe me, wherever I go and I'm invited, everything is taken care of by them. Somebody will come to airport to pick me up. The only thing I do is apply for visa. That's all, if in case it is required. But now I think 25 countries, we don't require visa from India. So many Asian countries and all. So somebody will come, they will put me in a hotel, they will take my care. And 24 hours, somebody will be with me at my disposal, including a phone, everything, whatever I need. And I just don't ask anything. Because when I stopped asking for money, I started getting a lot of respect, lot of love, lot of care. And they would come and hug me and whatnot. And I think this is my capital, because I'm going to leave this capital also on this earth. Even my smile, my name, reputation, my goodness, everything I'm going to leave here in the form of a memory. That will also vanish. Maybe 10, 20, 50, 100 years, someday it will vanish. I'm not a Buddha. I'm not Mahavir. I'm not Jesus. So it will vanish. I have limited time on this earth and limited memory to be left. So when God is taking my care, why should I worry? So I have no worries. My wife worries sometimes. What will happen? I said, nothing will happen. All good will happen. Just don't worry.
Absolutely love that perspective, Dr. Rajesh, because ultimately we come from a culture that truly understands what we believe is our destiny and how we train our mind and how we train our soul. Because while we leave this earth, the soul leaves the body. But what the soul knows and what the soul experiences stays with it and moves on. So as long as we understand that secret and we do everything to enrich the soul, then we truly have nothing to worry about. And I am so appreciative of you sharing that message with such poignance and with such relevance through storytelling. I am truly delighted to have had this opportunity to feature you, to talk to you. We are definitely going to bring you back because there's so much more we need to build on this. But I am going to turn this over to my co-host Kunle here to take us off the air with his closing message.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Dr. Rajesh. Thank you so much, Dr. Kass. It's been another amazing episode, another insightful episode on the man's space. Courtesy Dr. Rajesh, who had been brightening up our screen with the smile, the joy, and every positivity right on the inside of him. And that's why you need to watch out for the subsequent episode, as Dr. Kass and I will be bringing up great people of insight, great people who are thought leaders on the man's space for you. Stick around for more episodes of the man's space. See you some other time. Bye.
Thank you so much. And next time I will bring amazing stories about how I communicate with people who don't know my language and I don't know their language. And how do we
Wow.
get connected instantly? And
That
I will
sounds
share
good.
some such amazing stories next time.
That sounds good.
Thank you
you
so much. Thank you so much,
Namaste.
Kunle. Namaste. And thank
Thank
you,
you.
Dr. Kasturi
Yes.
Henry.